Hi, everybody. Welcome to the next in our webinar series, teaching everybody and sharing opportunities and everything through the WordPress community. And today I'm super excited. Not only do I have my awesome co-host with me, Graham. Hi, Graham.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. But I also have a really great guest. And Vito, we've had you on the list for a while. And because of COVID and the pandemic and then I was sick, we have rescheduled a few times, but here we are. We finally made it together.
Finally.
Finally, I know. You know you're one of my favorite people in WordPress, so I'm so glad we finally get to be on screen together again. Welcome.
Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on today and talking to us about client communication. You have a plugin for WordPress that is all about client communication. You have a platform online where people can share about client communication. You've got Facebook groups. Anywhere you can turn to look, Vito has a way for us to talk about client communication, work on client communication, and learn how to have better client communication, specifically around inputs with the website. I build a website. My customer tries to tell me how they want to make changes. I have a Google Doc going back and forth. I don't know what they mean. They don't know what I mean. There's a much better way of handling all that. So without further ado, I'm going to let you kind of introduce yourself, what you do. I know you've changed the name of your business too, which I love, and maybe tell us a little bit about that. And then, let's go ahead and hear what you have to share. And I promise we're gonna ask questions. But also, if anybody is out there watching, you can comment either on the Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, you can comment there, and we're going to see your comments. We'll share them, questions and comments. And the same thing is true on YouTube. We can share those, and since we're live, we can ask Vito, and I'm sure he's got great answers for us. And I figured out banners, so look at that. Welcome.
Nice.
So go ahead and introduce yourself, Vito.
So I'm Vito. I'm the founder of Atarim. We're a platform that helps freelancers and agencies deliver projects fast and eliminate all of the back and forth and confusion between three kind of aspects: between the agency owner, the client, and their team. Connecting all of those dots together, trying to get agency owners to stop being, I like to say, like those call center ladies from the 50s that are like this all day long, patching things up, moving things from here to there. Through our system, that's how we're kind of eliminating all of that process. And we just rebranded, so it's a brand new name.
Tell us about the name. I know what the name means, but tell everybody else what it's about.
So the name, we used to be called WP Feedback. We started the company a little less than 2 years ago, and it grew pretty fast. But the perception of WP Feedback kind of signaled to people that this is what we are, that we are just dealing with, that we're just a plugin, and that we're dealing just with the feedback. Atarim means websites in Hebrew, which is my native language. And so that gives us like a bit of leeway when it comes to the vision, where we want to take the product, how we're growing this. A lot of it is from our users' feedback. And so Atarim means websites, and it's not only a new name, but a whole new product and a whole suite of stuff. It's no longer just a plugin. Now the product is involved from two places. There is the agency dashboard, allowing the agencies to manage all of their communications, all of their team from one centralized location. And what was the plugin now became the client interface plugin that is installed on the different websites to feed all the information over to the centralized area.
Mm-hmm. And you had the idea for this plugin. You and I have talked before. You've been on my podcast a little over a year ago, I think.
Yes.
And you had the idea for this plugin. And between the time that you conceptualized it, built your team, funded it, and brought it to market was incredibly quickly. Tell us a little bit about how that happened.
So we initially built it like a super tiny MVP for us. I used to have, so I started as a freelancer, then I grew to an agency of 12 here in London. And through that process, I was going through all of these pain points, like trying to deal with clients at scale, trying to deal with team members that know how to design websites and build and write code, but not so much on the client communications, if you know what I mean. So I was the one that needed to act as the bottleneck of the entire business throughout the entire experience, growing from a freelancer to an agency. So I was kind of looking of a way to scale beyond the agency model. And as we were kind of, I was looking at different aspects, that maybe I'll do a course, maybe I'll do this, all kinds of different stuff. This problem just kept knocking at my door, with requests and clients and, not responding. We had people that were trying to gather content for a year, and they were kind of just delaying the most basic stuff. And so I told my team, you know what would be awesome? If we have something like InVision, but inside the website. So instead of on pictures or images, we can do it right on the website itself. And just that's gonna put everyone on the same page, literally. And so we built like a really scrappy MVP. And I told them, you have 2 weeks, get this done while I'm dealing with this other stuff here. And it was very scrappy, but it worked. It worked like magic. And then I was like, okay, why am I looking far? Let's just do what we know what to do. And we brought this to market literally within a month or a month and a bit, from the initial inception of the plugin. And within the first 30 days, we really kind of exploded. We managed to even break a WordPress record by a new company, generating more than 6 figures in revenue within the first 30 days. And now we're a team of 10 working solely on this plugin. Oh, I still say plugin, but on this platform. Some on the Laravel side, some React, some are PHP developers that are keep enhancing the features over there. And now a little less than 2 years later, we've managed to deliver a little more than 20,000 projects through our platform. And just in 2020, we helped complete 107,000 tasks, which, through our records, we're kind of looking at what is the impact of that. We found that it's basically saved 5 years of time for the industry. So I'm very proud of just moving from the agency side to helping thousands and thousands of agencies and freelancers with the most annoying stuff, right?
Well, as I told you when we talked well over a year ago, I think, the first time I was introduced to the plugin, the original plugin that you had, I was at a board camp, and one of the organizers said, you have to see this, and I have to show this to you. And the most amazing part is she pulled it up on her phone and showed me how, she logged into her website and showed me how it worked. So not only is it like totally 100% like on my screen, but it's mobile friendly as well. So, and not every plugin works well on mobile, right? Yeah. We can agree to that for sure.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that was really brilliant is a lot of our customers. So if I'm a designer, developer, a lot of my customers are looking at everything on their phone. So to make it mobile friendly was so important. Absolutely. So that was brilliant.
That was my kind of take on this. Really, that was from day one, trying to get into the head of our customers through the agency, and how are they going to give us the feedback that we need? How are they going to give us the content? How are they going to reach out to us with support? And in most cases, it's on the phone, on the go, right? And that was even before COVID. Maybe now they're more like sitting somewhere, but back then it was the standing in their shop, the brick and mortar shop, or they're driving around from one place to another. Most of them were not sitting in front of a screen like we do for most of their day. And so the approach was like, they're procrastinating. Let's not give them a reason to, and give this to them available everywhere. At the beginning, we even used to say, like, tell your clients that they can even do this while sitting on their toilet. There's no...
Because let's face it, everybody brings their phone in with them to the bathroom. But I mean, we don't want to talk about that, but that's where people are with their phones all the time. Just look at Reddit. Everybody talks about that on Reddit. That's where they're reading things. For sure. So when you think back, so first of all, let me say that when plugins are developed because people think there's a need, they don't necessarily hit the need quickly or necessarily right on the mark. But
Right.
when somebody builds a product like yours based on their own needs, and then they can scale it for others to use, it's so much more intuitive and easy to use. So that was brilliant that you solved your own problem and then said we can solve other people's problems too. So thank you for making it available for everybody else, for sure. When you think, I know you know, an agency guy for sure, what do you think is the number one, and we all have different answers or maybe even the same answer, but the number one client communication issue? What is the most difficult thing to get from our customers when we are building their websites?
By far, it's gathering content. So we actually surveyed this, and we keep serving this with our users and with just community kind of people that are not using our solution yet. And really, gathering content is insanely widespread when it comes to this, because what I found is that not, you know, a lot of times we try to either roll the responsibility over to the client. A lot of us have this clause in our contract: if you don't give us the content, then we're just gonna deliver the thing as is, and it's on you, right? But really, most clients they're going into this process of building a website for themselves, or through an agency or through a freelancer. They expect us to sort things out. You know, they expect us to lead them through the process, not place any hard responsibility on them, and even more, not kind of like pull out clauses from a contract when the time comes. So I like to kind of do things in a way that I call it like eating your client's complications. And this is something that we deployed back at the agency, and now we're doing this with Atarim as well. Every time I see something that is complicating the life of the community or the people that I'm trying to serve, I'm trying to see how can I consume this problem completely from my side, so that they don't need to even know it existed. And gathering content is a huge pain for clients in most cases, because they just don't know how to do it. And it's not that it's hard, because every business owner loves talking about their business, right? Like that's the most natural thing. If you sit next to a business owner at a dinner party, they will not shut up about their business. But then when they need to lay down on a blank Google Doc, then that's when things become a bit difficult for a lot of people.
Writer's block.
Yeah, exactly. So we bridged that gap through our solution, and I'm trying to battle a lot of the misconceptions in our industry that happen over course of years, which is adding this ridiculous clause into the agreement that basically says, "Not my fault, it's your fault," instead of realizing or thinking why. Why does the client get to the point where he can't say what the business does, which is crazy, really, when you put it in these terms, or how can I make this easier for them or train them properly so that they can actually execute on this. Another big reason for content gathering being such a huge pain is because the other solution is just get a copywriter, right? Just get a copywriter, no problem. Let's just outsource this thing, which is really a good idea, right? It is a good idea, because content, if you want to do it right, and if you don't know at all how to approach this, then better to leave it for a professional. But most clients don't see the value in content. They see the value in the package, in a website, right?
Right.
And that it's even easier to get them to agree to send out a photographer to their business to take out some nice photos and stuff like that, than to agree to spend a few hundreds or a few thousands dollars on someone to write down the text. And therefore, it has to be solved at the client level. And if it's wonky after, then you can show them, look, you did the work, you saw that it's not easy. Now let's bring in a professional. But if they never face it themselves, they never see the problem, and they can never understand why you're offering this solution to them.
And I used to be a freelancer, so I'll think back to those days sometimes and think about the fact that some of my customers would not give me content. So I'd have to try to come up with content. And it's never going to be 100% right because I'm not in their business. At least it's a starting point. But they want me to come up with the content, and then they expect within a week or two to be #1 on Google as well. So they don't understand that all of that works together, and that a good copywriter for web copy, right? So we're not talking about a copywriter for ghostwriting a book, for example, but a good web copywriter understands SEO and uses strategy and how they're creating the content as well. And that's becomes super important at that point.
Yeah, but it also kind of brings up another big misconception that in our industry, which is the content first approach, right? Mm-hmm. So this is something really widespread, and it has a name that people know, right? The content first approach. But really, if we're trying to break this down, the experience that we're taking the client through with this approach means that they paid us a deposit, right? Usually 30-50%. Then we do some kind of a call with them. That's the discovery session. We get some information. And then the first thing that they do, they didn't get anything. The first thing that we do is we send them off to generate the content, telling them you should have it in 2 weeks, or sometimes we tell them it's going to take you 2 months, right? Mm-hmm. Even though, again, when we write copy for our own website, we know that it's a few hours task because we could just talk about the business. It's not a big deal. If you have the layout and you know that, okay, I need the main headline. What is the big promise of my business? I'll just say that it's that we help freelancers and agencies deliver projects fast, right? Like that. But when I look at a blank doc and, okay, where do I start? What am I doing? And all of that. Plus the fact that the agency or the freelancer is framing this as a 2 months project. Who has 2 months, really? Which business owner has 2 months of anything? Then it just gets like delayed because it never starts. Once something starts, then it's a lot easier to get this done.
Absolutely.
So, no deliverables, which means that the first experience of the client is they paid us money and then they go off to work, right? Which is not a good user experience anywhere in any service. But then also they're facing like a blank doc that really have no reality or no connection to reality whatsoever. And the third thing is that they are just the time span is insane. So even through our platform, we recommend people to say 2 days and the weekend. That's it. That's all you get. 2 days and a weekend. That means that if you frame it like that, it gets the client thinking, okay, so today's Wednesday, I have 2 days and the weekend. When am I going to do it? I'm going to put some time on the calendar or for me to actually get this done, instead of saying in the next 2 months, and then everything comes before that.
Right. So we don't use our webinars as sales pieces. We're not here to try to, market you to other people. But I still want you, if you can, show us the platform. If you want to share a screen with us, and just because people have a visual of what we're talking about, that'd be great.
Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
All right. So right now I'm inside the agency dashboard, and like I said, the product is divided into 2 parts. We have the agency dashboard, and by the name you can understand that this is the agency's dashboard, and we have the client interface plugin that is installed on the client's website. Let me move that out of the way. And here you see all of those little stickers that have different conversations within them that basically allow us to start and have a proper conversation about any part of the website itself. So if I want to, let's say, change this piece of copy, I'll just click on the comments and choose this. I can see I already have a completed task here, right? And I'll say change this to this. That's it. And that now is feeding everything into my dashboard. So if I'm going to click on websites, I'm going to see all of my different websites here nested in one place where I can just go in and see what needs doing for each one of them. So if I'm going to click on this one, for example, It's going to take me into the task center, which is basically the agency's inbox. All of the messages, all of the requests are going into here, and we have the different websites. We just need to get them to green. We have our demo site with 587 open tasks right here. And the game is to just like work through those items until you get everything to this state. Obviously, links to I domain, for PP, and terms and conditions, right? Privacy policy, terms and conditions. Now, not only that, but if I'm going to go to this project and we see the task that we just created, change this to this. If I'm going to click on this, I'm getting an automated screenshot that was generated while the client left that message that tells me exactly what I need to work on. So again, 3 words. What are they talking about? This. What screen size they were on? This. What browser were they using? This guy. Now let's even distribute this to one of my team members. So I'm going to choose Hassan from here, for example. And now it's distributed to Hassan. And I'm going to tell him this one is for you, Hassan. Add a note. So again, not going to Slack. So like if looking at the standard process of how you would do something like this, the client would send you an email or a WhatsApp message or a Facebook message or something, or just telling you, I need you to change the title. Then you go back to him first saying, which title? We have 1,000, right? Then there's like back and forth until you understand what they're talking about. Then you take that request over to Slack, drop it in there for the team members, while the agency owner then goes to Trello to move that task to the relevant place or create that task, or Trello or Asana or Teamwork, the team member needs to then go to the website, find the problem that is in discussion, get this sorted, go back to Slack, send a message so that the agency owner can move this on the relevant board and email the client, right? Here, none of this happens. So the client left a message over there. I assigned it to Hassan over here. The status is already set. So if I'm going to look into here, I'm going to see this particular task inside my inside the board section. You can see this is the one that we're talking about right now. So I can see it right here. And as the team member even moves this, so I can either drag this or, to kind of notify. The client is notified automatically for every status change or when the task is complete. So I don't need to send that additional email. I just drag it to here and they know. But also, as the team member is working on this, and let's say they changed it, they just mark it as complete. The client is notified. The thing moves on the board. Everyone is happy and no one did anything.
Lots of automations that make life a lot easier for sure.
Yeah, just trying to. So I'm just looking at what are the. There is a term in communication that is called developed traffic, and this is really an interesting concept. If you want me to kind of give 2 minutes about this.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So let me even open like Paint online so I can show you what I mean. Right. Very basic, right? So the idea of every solid communication is to get a message from point A to point B, right? That is what communication is about. A to B. This is what we want. It's a game of catch. That's all that it is. We want to say something, and for the other side to actually catch that piece of information and understand it straight away. But really, what usually happens is that we're looking more like this. Going back and forth, going to B, and then back to A, and then back to B, and the whole thing is just like fragmented and all over the place. And what I try to do with every feature that we're releasing is I'm trying to identify this, what we call developed traffic, and just remove it and create a clear path from A to B, so that all the other stuff are either automated or just gone because of the way because there is a system in place that eliminates them. And that is, you can see that in scope creep, you can see that in content gathering, you can see that in support, especially in support, because the mindset of the client shifts when they move over to When they don't have focus on the project and they're just giving you a request on the go, like they do when it comes to support, they will tell you the button is not working. Then what? There is a flow of a broken A to B because you don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
So then you go back to them and say, what button? And they're telling you the button on the homepage, And it's like, okay, but there's like 7 buttons on the homepage, and every time there is a communication cycle, it's not instant. It's either hours or days for the other side to reply, to go back into that frame. Everyone gets pissed off. It's kind of like when when you're throwing a ball to someone, but you're not throwing it at them, you're kind of throwing it there. So they're gonna tell you, what the hell are you doing? I'm right here. Throw it at me. Throw it, so I can catch it. And so people get pissed off really fast when communications break in that sense. And yeah, that's this is what leads us. Removing developed traffic and trying to find those enhancements and just consume them on our side.
I love it. I think that's great. When you were originally drawing the traffic pattern, it reminded me of the difference between, we say, like how the crow flies from point A to point B to how a bee would get there. If you've ever watched a bee try to fly, right? It's very, very different perspective. And the bee looking at every flower on the way as opposed to the crow going, I see a worm about a mile away. I'm going right for it.
Straight at it. Exactly. That's what we want.
Absolutely. That's really cool. I haven't seen,
but I think that's kind of captures the point of it. You can time track, estimate the time to really understand where your time is going to, and based on that, we're giving you data-driven KPIs for the agency so that you can really make decisions based on the client. Who are the clients that are wasting the most time? Usually, they are the ones that are not profitable. Or so once you kind of identify them, you can really either change their package on the care plans or their hourly kind of pack for the month or whatever, or kind of just be aware that you need to release that client back into the wild and focus on things that actually move the needle for you. Tracking the team so I like this kind of we have what I like to call God mode. So for example, let's look at Kojo here or Hassan. We're talking about Hassan, right? So yeah, Hassan just changed this one, or we changed this one to complete. He notified this type of user and he made this status change. So we always know what the team is doing, which comes in really handy when it comes to working with contractors or people that are working remote. And there's always this faint doubt in your mind, are they really doing something? Right? So that's how we kind of tackle this. The team knows that I see everything, and that creates that discipline. That's what God is about, right? Someone is always watching, so you do the right thing, right? So that's that's why I like to go this like God mode. And yeah, a whole bunch of really small. We have about 150 small features that reduce about 80% of the day-to-day activity within agencies.
That's amazing. How difficult is it to onboard the web customer? So let's say that you're building a website for a restaurant around the corner and they are not web savvy people. How easy is it for them to use this to give you the feedback that you need?
Right. So this is something that we think about a lot. My niche within my agency was nonprofits here in the UK, and the average age of a trustee within nonprofits here in the UK is 74 years old. So you can imagine the type of people that we had to deal with when it comes to being tech savvy or not. So what I did to kind of negate that, first of all, is get it to a place where it works everywhere, like you said, on mobile or tablet or anything like that, the tools that they use. But also you will find that all the design and all the UI that is facing the client is influenced by stuff that they use every day. So it will look to them like they're using Facebook or they're using Google, because these are the stuff that they are used to using. So you won't find like stuff on the client side. You won't find stuff like dark mode which is something that we like, but clients are like, what? Why everything is dark all of a sudden, right? Why is my Facebook dark? So like we really think of how can we get them into a place where it's just familiar from the get-go. Now, the game is to get them to do it once. And if they do it once, they will see the value in it. And it's a lot easier to bring in clients that already experienced something wrong before, like 3 days of messaging on WhatsApp to get something done that should take a few seconds. Then they will just thank you. And what we find is that most clients, after they use this, they say that they don't want to use anything. They say, I don't want to use anything else. On the next project, they're going to say, I'm going to add this feedback tool as well, so we can have these little conversations. It empowers them, and therefore they love it, basically.
You're not only providing tools for your agency or if you're a freelancer, just for yourself, if it's just, a team of one, but you're actually putting tools in the hands of the business owner to be able to communicate effectively with you, and that's going to cut down on their frustration as well.
Yes, and really, we all do that already. The average agency and freelancer are introducing between 7 to 15 different tools to their client throughout the project that usually takes about 6 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. If we think about this from a more sober kind of a point of view, imagine your accountant would bounce you between 7 to 15 different tools. Today we're working on this Google Doc. Tomorrow we have this spreadsheet. Now, I want you to go here and book something on my calendar for the next Zoom call that we're going to have. But for the review of the design, I'm going to send you images so that you can send me an email back with the notes on there. But I'm only going to receive the notes if you're going to do them like that. And if you want your logins, you got to go to your client portal, and it's a whole mess. So right. What we said is like, and the funniest thing is that it's never the website. It's always everything except for the product that they actually paid for. Right. So our approach was like, let's get them into the website. If they understand what WordPress can do for them, they're gonna want more. They're gonna ask for a booking feature. For let's start selling online. Let's do this. So the path to upselling is a lot easier if you introduce the clients to what they actually bought.
Absolutely. If you have questions, if you're watching and you have questions for Vito, put them in the chat. We will answer them live. I'm going to ask Graham. I've been talking an awful lot, which I talk over you all the time. So you're such a good co-host because you never say, Michelle, shut up. Let me get a word edgewise. But you actually deal with web customers more than I do, Graham, because I work at a plugin shop, right? And I'm not a designer anymore. I mean, I design some of my own stuff, but I'm pretty good at giving myself feedback. But Graham, what are your thoughts? What do you see as some of the bottlenecks as far as client communication? And let's get Vito's feedback on anything that you are experiencing.
I think you've got it's a great product, and I absolutely love it, and I can see the usefulness of it. I mean, it's amazing. I was just wondering if there were things that you think maybe the tool doesn't quite cover yet, or maybe it's not possible to capture in a single tool. So for example, you mentioned scope creep there. How do you handle things like that through feedback? And would your tool be able to cope with something like that? Or is that something more that we as people need to be trained? Or if you employ somebody, you need to employ the right people with the right skills. How would you go about that?
So if we're talking about scope creep, what is, like, if we define this for a second, it's the idea that someone is introducing new features and new requests after the right time, right? After the time that was already agreed upon. And the main reason why scope creep happens is because project stages tend to merge into each other. There is no clear differentiation between when am I doing what. And if that is the case, then it's a lot easier for the client to not see the bigger picture of, okay, we finished that already. So I had my time, I had my opportunity. And that is why they come back with more requests and stuff like that. So I agree. This is something that needs to happen as part of training. And that's why we kind of introduce our users to what I like to call the perfect project framework. And I can even share a picture of that. Hold on.
Yes, please.
And so that we know exactly what I'm talking about. Account. So essentially, this maps out all of the different components of a website project after surveying thousands of agencies and figuring out what is the proper path for execution. Yep, I got it right here. Let me zoom it in a little bit. Sure. Okay, the components of a website project. So you can see that we're starting. Oh.
That was me. I clicked.
Okay.
My knuckles hit something.
Right. So we're starting, and I'm sure that you're going to introduce your process within this, or you're going to find your process within that gram as well. And first of all, the client signs a contract, pays the initial deposit, 30%, 50%, that's the standard. After that, you move over to a discovery session where you need to gather some information. What is the business goals? Who are the competitors? What are the type of websites that you like? Or even better, what are the type of websites that your audience likes, right? And then after that, moving over to creating some sort of a sitemap. This is something that most people don't do at the early stages, but then agencies religiously do that. And the reason why, because this is the mechanism that stops scope creep. By allowing people to see from a bird's eye view what we're actually building. And just so if people don't know, like a sitemap looks pretty much like this, some kind of a flow chart that illustrates what are the different components that you're going to be building throughout the project. If I'm going to show you an example of that. Let's load this on this guy. I think I have something that will load here. Hopefully I got the URL right. Yes, perfect. So you have a bit of a sitemap that is going here. And this is a small free plugin that's called Slick Sitemap that people can find on the WordPress repo that allows you to create sitemaps from the pages that you're later going to be building. So again, with our approach, as you saw the flow of the developed traffic, we're trying to look at what is the stage that we're doing now, what is the next stage, so that we don't do duplicate work. We don't introduce the clients to multiple tools. We don't use multiple platforms. We take the project we allow the project to slide from one place to another instead of being taken from one place to another, using third-party tools and so on. So again, we're on the client's website, created a basic page with the client logo, write one sentence, click the plus icon, and choose any element to let me know what you think. And here you're going to find stuff like, if I'm going to click on this, on the contact, we need a booking form, right? Or you're going to find something like, you told them that there's going to be like 5 products here, but then you find out we actually need 300 products that I forgot to mention. Right? So all of those kind of stuff. Or for example, we don't have a privacy policy. Are you gonna supply a privacy policy? Don't mind the thing here. Pricing policy, right? So the stage already went through those kind of process, and all that we need to do is just get this approved. Once this is approved, that's it. The stage ended, and anything that is beyond that, you can refer back to the stage that this was approved on. Approved page. That's it. And if scope creep comes up, and it will, I'm not saying that it won't.
Oh yeah.
You have the ability to say, we already did that. That's what the sitemap stage was about. And now, if you want something else, no problem. I can help you with that. But we're going to do it after the project. It's always good to not include additional stuff within the project. And the priority for me is always to keep the timeline, because I know that I have another project coming right after that. So we can do that after the project. By doing that, we're kind of training the client to pay more after, right? So we're kind of already priming them for upsells later on. during the build. So if it happens on this stage, like where is the booking form that I never told you about, right? So we never talked about a booking form. So I'm just gonna mark this task as a future task, in which case you can just come into here, do like future task. You can see it already finds this one. Which I like to use this little tag because then I can group tasks into projects for the later stage. So anything that is out of scope just goes into future task, and we'll talk about this after we're live.
You know how you're mentioning sliding through things and not making a client or clients jumping from one platform to another. How much do you think? I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. Do you think the success of WP Feedback and now Atrium do you think it's so successful because not only you're doing that, making people have everything basically in one place, but because it's such a visual tool? Do you think it's been successful because it's primarily a visual tool as well?
I'd say 100%, because the aberration from reality within our industry is that we're trying to build a visual product without any visual means, and that is what gets us stuck in most places. That's why they can't give you the content, because they can't picture what we picture. It's like when a musician listens to a song, they don't hear a song. They hear the bass drum. They hear the backing vocals on the right side in the back. They hear the rhythm guitar that is running on 4/4. 4/4. They sometimes even can identify the different brands of instruments just from listening to the song itself. Like a mechanic hears a sound and he said, "Oh, that's the carburetor," and you're like, "What? How do you know that?" So, each profession over time gets that ability to see the matrix of their own profession. And clients, when we're telling them, "Yeah, of course, I need the content. What is the problem?" We see the matrix, but they just see a blank page. And it's like we're looking at the car, but the mechanic is looking at the parts, is seeing the parts. We look at a website, we see color schemes, we see layouts, we see the code behind it. We identify, oh, this is an Elementor website, right? Straight away, you can feel it that it's an Elementor website without inspecting the code. So 100%, it's illogical to try and teach music without the ability to hear anything, and it's illogical to build a visual product without the ability to see what you're doing.
What do you think the difference is between the way you're kind of approaching projects and a typical sort of agency approach, which is you do your mock-ups, you have the lorem ipsum text, you have placeholder images, and you supply that to the client and then ask for your content?
Okay, that's great. This is exactly what we're training customers to do. Most don't do that. Most send you to a spreadsheet that says H1, H2, H2, H3, H3, block of text, and then they're supposed to understand what the hell, But with what you're saying is, I'll even show you this wireframe. So we supply those templates for every page builder. Oh, damn it! I got the wrong. If I have it here. Let me try and do. No, I can't seem to find it here. Maybe here. Let's try. Let's see for There we go. Okay, so we're for every page builder in the space, we're providing this template that allows you to create those wireframes again where the work is inside the website, and it actually works great with the process that I'm describing here. So if you're talking about this stage, right? This is where you want to gather the content. So after you built you created the pages to create the sitemap that I showed you, you use the pages to drop in this page template and just choose the ones that you want to work with. So like our templates, the way that it works is that we're giving you like 5 types of headers, 5 types of hero sections, 5 types of icon sections, and then you just delete what you don't want. Again, saving loads of time as opposed to what most agencies do, which is land inside Sketch or Photoshop or XD and create it from scratch every single time. So here, just delete. In 3 minutes, you have this result of a homepage that I'm describing here. And here is where you gather the content, right? It's like it doesn't get as more clear than that. Add your unique selling proposition. We're the best in the world. Right? And yeah, call to action. I need this image, so you would upload here. Use this image. Let me upload something. I have some stuff from the upcoming summit. Let's.
You can use Chris Lema. Put Chris Lema here. Oh no, then we got Todd Jones instead.
Yeah. Yeah. Use Chris Lema.
That's awesome. Yep, perfect.
And yeah.
We have a question from through the YouTube channel, through YouTube watchers from JB. Is there a color picker built in to help customers know how to answer color questions? So we all know that we try to get as many colors in the palette up front from our customers, right? So we know what hex codes we're using, etc. But when they want to change a color, is there a way for them to easily tell you how to do that?
Right, that's a good idea, but no, not yet.
Okay.
I might take up this on this new feature because I think it's a great idea.
Excellent, very good. Well, we're running out of time, and I do want to give you a couple minutes. I'm going to let you keep sharing. I was going to let you keep sharing your screen so you can pull up your summit website.
All right,
and show us, because you have a summit coming up. I know because I'm a speaker. Yes. I'm excited about that. But tell us a little bit about the summit. I know it's starting on March 23rd.
Yes, exactly. March 23rd until the 26th. Just 11 days left for this one. And we have this is the second year that we're running this. Some amazing people have partnered with us from GoDaddy, WP Engine, Access. We're talking about Chris Lema. That's why I have his image. Yeah. WordPress.com, Termageddon, all of the good friends that have joined us for creating the biggest event in the WordPress space. Last year we had 5,700 attendees on this event. And the agenda or the idea of our event is to create a place that it doesn't only talk about the technical aspect of building a website. That you can find loads of stuff on YouTube, right? How to do this with this plugin, how to do that with this plugin. But our focus is how to build a proper business, whether it's a freelance business or an agency. And so you see, we're kind of like splitting things up to the different categories. So as a good infrastructure, you want to learn the basics of, we're not going to show you how to use a page builder, but we're going to talk to you what are the things to focus on when you're building a website in terms of SEO, instead of content, in terms of content, we're talking about Todd, accessibility, which is becoming part of the law. More and more as we're kind of doing this, looking into the future, maybe as upsell for some clients, incorporating some Alexa kind of stuff, different approach to building stuff with static builds. But then starts the business aspect of it, of expanding. So now you know how to build or what to focus on through the build. Now you can see how to make a business out of it, creating recurring revenue, mindset is super important in business because it's hard. Being in business is hard, and so Chris talks about the paradigm shift that needs to happen in order for you to really build a proper business here. Increasing web design agency through additional services, completing services that you need to have. Selling WordPress care plans, finding your niche, maybe becoming like a WordPress LMS consultant, getting paid, right? How are you going to even get paid? And then as you need to scale, how you can decrease your workload while increasing your revenue. proactive project management, so not letting projects manage you, but you're managing the project, which is something that becomes a struggle as you're trying to scale and juggle more projects at the same time. Turn websites into your website, the agency website, into a marketing machine that will generate leads on an ongoing basis. The main three bottlenecks, I touched some of them here. I touched mostly the content. This is my talk. How to avoid the three bottlenecks, which is gathering content, approving designs, and providing support. The change budget. This is a really interesting concept by Beth. Make yourself known in the WordPress space. That works really well. I'm sure that you know Michelle from being an influencer and Graham as well. You know, like what it does for your own business, being out there and speaking to other freelancers and agencies and getting to know their scope creep. To answer your question, Graham, how to get scope creep? How to get projects unstuck. People that just left, in the middle of the build, as well as what to do with all of those small projects that you not necessarily want to do. A WAS is a great solution for that. And then finally, we have the Thrive category. Once you have an agency that is running, how to build a proper brand. Who is better to tell you about building a brand of a massive business than GoDaddy, especially with the stuff that we've been doing recently, GoDaddy Pro, measuring the value of the agency so that you can go build it for an exit or not, but it's always good to build like you're going to sell, even if you're going to keep it for yourself, because this means you're running smooth operation. I brought Jimmy on board. Jimmy is a good friend that I met at WordCamp, and he runs Agency Creative, which is one of the biggest agencies in Europe, more than 50 employees, and what he would do and not now reflecting back. Topher, you probably know Topher as well, is talking.
Absolutely.
He's a serial employee of agencies. So seeing like how does it work from the employee point of view, accessibility costs and your clients, again, from looking at it from a different aspect. More profitable agency. And look at that, closing this amazing list. We have Michelle building a community to build your brand, which is also an amazing way to create a sustainable business. Not so much at the beginning, but as you have something that is already running, creating like a following behind it is something very important. I think this is something that you guys are doing here, right?
We're trying.
And that you've done for Give as well. They didn't have that before you came into the game. So definitely this is the Thrive kind of operation. Anyway, this is like, as you can see, it's all that people need, and it's free to attend. All you need to do is just go to Atarim/summit and sign up for free to just enjoy all this content. There's even like loads of all the sponsors. They have their own booths. I can give you a bit of behind the scenes here.
Ooh, secret look.
Right. Let's go inside the venue platform. Right, so you can see we're running the event from here. We have all of the tracks coming in here in the exhibit hall. You can see some of the sponsors are already starting to build their own booths. Every booth has really unique stuff. Let's look at Nexus here. They can you can interact with them. You can win some awesome prizes in each one of those booths. Here, there's gonna be when it's gonna be live. There's gonna be a person from the company, the products that we use every day, to really answer questions and introduce you to the stuff that they're doing, why they're doing it, any problems. So this is a great place to catch all of those guys.
Perfect.
In one place, and the biggest gathering of the industry, really.
And when I was attending this last time, you had some great interactions happening in the networking rooms, and I actually made some amazing connections. Ended up with people on my podcast because of people that I interacted with on there. I was then invited to be on different summits because of people that I interacted with there. So definitely that lounge, and I think you were using Jitsi. I don't know if you're still using Jitsi for that, but that lounge and the way it worked was just Primo. I loved it. There you are. It's like Inception. We see you twice now.
So everyone is invited. This is like our hallway track. People come here and just hang out between the sessions or after hours. And like you're saying, Michelle, making really solid connections from just meeting other people. There's been some deep discussions as well as some lights. Most of the times like light conversations and stuff, but some deep discussions as to the world of running a business in our space, and even the big debate of which page builder are you using? All of those kind of stuff. These are things.
Who's your host? Oh, Sentry. I haven't heard of them before. Let's talk about them. That's awesome. Well, I don't want to take up a ton of your time. I do want to just throw a couple things up here. I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for being with us today. You can find Vito at his website, which is a .io. So don't go to the .com, .io. Also, you can follow, at Atarim IO, I think, is _IO. I can't remember now, on Twitter. But also you can find Vito just at Vito Peleg, and you can sign up for the summit, like I said, and we'll retweet that out there for you too, Vito, so people who are following us will be able to have access to that.
Awesome.
And then I just want to say we do these webinars every month. I am still lining up next month, so you'll have to follow us on Twitter, which is at @SentryHost, to be able to see who's going to be speaking next month with us. But we always learn great things, and we have just amazing people in our community who are always willing to share what they do and how to make your practice easier and your practice better. So thank you again. Thanks for letting me reschedule the times that we needed to. And this is great for you to be here today. We will definitely see you at the summit in 2 weeks. And I really appreciate that you were here to share with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure meeting you, Graham, and also to see you.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
You so much.
So
thank you,
in this year that everything has been online, it has actually, I think, and I've said this publicly, pulled our community together even more and brought us, because now we are able to see faces that we used to wait to see, or meet people that we used to wait to meet in person. I absolutely crave those word camps and things where we meet in person, but to be able to grow my network just because of things like your summit and the online word camps and WordFest from Big Orange Heart has been just fantastic. And so I'll keep joining things online, and I'll keep saying hi to people all over the world. And thank you for being part of that community and making it possible.
Thank you.
So we'll end our broadcast here. Don't go anywhere yet, Vito, because I'm going to talk to you before we let you go. But we'll see everybody else next month. Watch our website, watch our Twitter account, and we'll be sure to make that known. Until next time, we'll see y'all later.